Hi, and welcome to ICPL 101, all about events at the library. My name is Stacy McKim, and I've worked at the Iowa City Public Library for about 7 years. And I work at the info desk upstairs, answer the phone, and I run our digital media lab, which is currently closed during the express browsing phase that we're in. Previously, I've worked also at the help desk, run the bookmobile, and did outreach in the community. Tonight, I want to share about our events with you. And why is that? Because we had 1,399 library events in the last full year that we were open. And I find that to be overwhelming sometimes, and I figured you might too. So my goal tonight is to help you know where to start to find the events that you'll love from the library. So what were all of these events? I just wanted to briefly show you our mission statement. Most people think of public libraries as a place for story time for children, and we do that, but we also do events for all ages with this goal of engaging you with ideas and each other. And our programs tend to be about the last 3 things on this list. Learning, creativity, and literacy, where literacy can mean reading, but also finding the information you need, using technology effectively, and being able to navigate our society in our modern world. All of the library's events are free and open to the public, and you don't have to have a library card to take part either. These are the main ways to find out what's happening at the library. Paper calendars can be picked up in the lobby or at any of the service desks in the library. They come out each month, and it's a good way to take it home and look over what you might be interested in. And right now we have one calendar for all ages, but during normal times before the pandemic and maybe afterwards, they are split up into children's and adults and teens. So keep an eye out for those next time that you come in the library. Another way to find out what's happening is following us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. If you have any of those, you'll be able to hear about some select events that are coming up. But the main way is our online calendar. And so I'm going to demonstrate that for you now, if you'll bear with me for a second, and kind of show you how that works. Okay, so here we are at the library's website, which is icpl.org. And you can get to the calendar a couple different ways. This is the main way, this calendar link up here, but you can also see some upcoming events in the middle if you're looking for what's happening today or in the next couple of days. When you click on this calendar link up here, this takes you to one view of the calendar, and then these age groups are a different way. So let me just show you quickly what the categories look like. So here, this is the adult category, and it's a list of everything in date order. And you can just scroll through and see what's interesting to you. If you do the same thing for kids, it looks about the same. You see that's coming up on the 10th, the 11th, the 14th. And so that's one way to look for library events if that appeals to you. But a comprehensive way is to go to this calendar link. And so you'll see that there's some tabs here where you can choose the time frame. Right now, this is only showing library events because our community meeting rooms aren't available. So in normal times, this view of the calendar is jam-packed with a mixture of library events as well as community meetings. And if I show you the day view, it looks almost empty right now because this goes by meeting room. So meeting room A, nothing, B, nothing, C, D. So normally groups would have things scheduled throughout the day, and it just looks like mayhem, but like exciting mayhem. And so right now, everything is online or in this Zoom space. So it's kind of a good time to get used to using this calendar because all you're seeing are library events, and you can kind of get your feet under you before everything comes back. Let me see here. So looking at this, if you know that you have a certain day free that you want something to do, you can just look for that date and see what your options are. Or I like to use these filters. So the first filter is by age group. So if I switch it to adults, you'll notice that these all have a red bar across the top. We've got some color coding going. The ones that have multiple colors means it's for multiple age groups. And we can switch to just teens, just the tweens, etc. The family group here is mainly for like kids and tweens. So for ages, school age through maybe junior high, and they're usually activities that would be fun for the whole family, including the adults to either support or enjoy along with them. The other way that you can filter is by type. So each time we create a library event, we give it a little tag to say what type of thing it is. So if you are really into nature and gardening, you can limit it to just those right off the bat. Or if you are interested in a handful of things, you can sort of craft your own view for the month of April and decide what you're interested in. Locations aren't quite as important anymore. This is mostly a tool for groups who are trying to schedule their own meeting. And if they know they like room C, they could see if it's busy on their day or not. But those are some ways that you can play around in there. And I also wanted to show you what it's like to register for an event. So for anybody who's with me live, obviously you've figured out this technique, but for anyone watching this recording, I'll just really quickly show you how I would go about this. So here we have a book discussion coming up, and I can read about it. I can see how many people have registered already. It tells me that it's a Zoom event because we want to make sure that that's clear, that it's online over the video call software. This tells me also that this is a part of a co-sponsorship, things like that. But if I want to register, I can click on this button to do so. In non-pandemic times, registering is sort of important, but not critical. It's mostly a way for us to know that we'll all fit in the room that we picked and know that people are interested. But now this is essential because this is the only way that you'll get the information to log in on Zoom. And so you would just fill in your name, your email address, you can skip the phone number if you want, and register for something. And what you'll get, let me switch my screen here. You'll get emails from us. First, one that says that you're registered for a certain event, and it comes from the Iowa City Public Library, and it tells me I'm registered and how I can get logged on when the time comes. And then usually you'll get a reminder at some point, maybe the day before or the day of, reminding you that this is happening, giving you that login again. If that's confusing and you wish you didn't have to do that, you can also always call the library and we will be glad to register you over the phone, or you can stop by in person and we can register you in person and explain how that all works. Are there any questions about how to get registered or use that calendar? Okay. I'll just add for anybody who hasn't used Zoom that we'll be glad to support you if you have questions about that too. You don't have to download that software. You could use Zoom just in a browser window, but using the free software does make it a little bit easier. So let us know if you have questions about how that works.
Thanks.
Sharon, did you have a question?
Nope.
Okay, great. So that's the calendar. Let's talk about what you'll see on there. So I'm going to split this up into age groups, although if you're on the cusp in between these or something, it's not a hard and fast rule. But basically we have things for babies, kids, tweens, teens, and adults. And I'll give you a little sense of what to expect from each one. And I'm going to add an extra note before I move on that this is a confusing time with the pandemic. So I'm going to try to share what we're doing now, what we'll be doing this summer, and then what we would normally do before the pandemic, and hopefully what we'll get back to after the pandemic. And that might be sometime this fall, or it might be next year.
Next year.
So bear with me, and if it gets too confusing, please stop me for clarification.
Okay.
So let's go next to babies. This is considered pre-kindergarten early literacy. And the main program we have for babies is run by Karen here, and she does Book Babies. So this is for new families to spend time rhyming, reading, singing with their baby at home while connecting with other new parents in the community. Normally, this is a fun time in person. The strollers all clog up the area outside the storytime room and people get to know each other. So we look forward to that happening again. And Book Babies is for ages 0 to 2 years old. You'll have fun with your infant or baby with rhymes, finger plays, songs, and short stories designed to stimulate an infant's language development. This is normally held twice on Fridays, once in the morning and in the afternoon to accommodate the large audiences as well as nap schedules. Right now, Book Babies is held every Friday on Zoom at 10:30 a.m. A couple other special things for babies are Belly Babies and 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. And these are ongoing programs that you can start whenever you have a kid at the right age. So Belly Babies is the way to start a reading ritual before birth, which is when the language and literacy skills start. So you can register an unborn baby for the program and you'll receive a high contrast board book along with a bookmark to help you keep track of your 50 read alouds. After you complete reading 50 books aloud to your baby, before the baby even arrives, you will receive another board book and get entered into the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program.
Cool.
I'll show you, I'm glad you think that's cool. I'll show you where that is on our website. Also as a way to explain that we have something called Beanstack, that is software that's used to sort of help keep track of reading challenges and programs. And so I just want to let you know what that looks like. So here I am on the kids page. If you scroll down a little bit, there's the 1,000 Books and the Belly Babies. And it's a little extra information about it, but you can get registered here. Let me try it for 1,000 books. I clicked on that earlier today. Yeah, here it is, sign up. So the sign up screen will look like this. And so you'll see that it's at this Beanstack website. So don't think that that's some kind of a scam. That's intentional. And you can sign in if you've used it before, or you can register yourself or your whole family all at once. And you'll see that we use this for those 2 baby programs. We also have an ongoing thing called Read Woke, where you can keep track of books that you've read, where you've kind of challenged your normal reading and learned about people who are from different diverse backgrounds. And this is also, Beanstack is where we do our big summer reading program, where you can keep track of your books and challenges that you do. So let me come back to my slideshow. Just a little bit more about the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. The idea here is to read a book, any book, to your newborn, infant, and or toddler, and to have read 1,000 books, although repeating is allowed, before the child starts kindergarten. So if that sounds hard, they did some math for us. If you read 1 book a night, that's 365 in a year, 730 in 2 years, and 1,095 in 3 years. And if you consider most kids start kindergarten at age 5, you have more time to get through 1,000 books than you think. So moving on from babies into kids. This is the main reason that I really wanted to do this program, because there are so many programs for kids that I sometimes can't wrap my head around it. And so I got information from my coworkers, Becky, Mary, and Casey, and I'll try to lay it out in a way that covers everything. So during non-pandemic times, we usually have a story time every day, Monday through Saturday at 10:30 in the morning. And these early reading programs are designed to strengthen pre-reading and reading skills through 5 early literacy skills: singing, talking, reading, writing, and playing. So we may offer an age suggestion for a story time, but those are flexible. And we ask individuals to attend whichever works best for their families. We currently are offering 30-minute Zoom story times for all ages, as well as mini story times daily that are available on our social media platforms too, and are closer to about 10 minutes with a book, rhymes, and songs. And a lot of effort goes into these story times by the children's department, I know, and so they are fantastic if you have any young ones in your lives. Even if they live somewhere afar, you can still get to these videos right now on our website or our YouTube channel. During the year, we have Sunday fun days each week. In normal times, that's a 2-hour block in the storytime room with a craft and a lot of fun. And now it's take and make projects that you can take home and work on yourselves. And we are doing that for about 180 people each week. We also offer year-round a monthly family night activity, which is designed for the whole family to enjoy together. During in-house family nights, they were sometimes performances, scavenger hunts, fort building contests, things like that. And in pandemic times, it's been kits that you can take home. So pumpkin pie kits, family painting class over Zoom, stargazing, and science experiments to go. For this summer, it'll change a little bit. So it's been all on Zoom right now, but this summer will be the reintroduction of in-person story times in our Stories in the Park. This is where you can see in this second picture, a librarian is there to do the story time, and everyone will spread out 6 feet apart on blankets or tarps or whatever, and enjoy the story time outside at Willow Creek, Weatherby, or Mercer Park. And we frequently have special guests for Stories in the Park. And it got even bigger a few years ago when we added our bookmobile. Now you can combine a bookmobile visit with your story time. We are also planning some other cautious outdoor programs with social distancing for this summer. And they include things like an orchestra, concert, zoo visit, bubble shows, dance performances, and more. And in the summertime, they also have some more weekly programming for all ages. In a typical summer, there's something special every day of the week. And so I'll kind of run through that, but it's Monday matinees where we show a movie. Tuesdays are for tweens, which I'll get to next. World Wednesdays, where you learn about another country in the world. Thursdays are special events where we bring in presenters for educational programming for both the morning and afternoon. And these are big things like musicians, magicians, performers, and dancers. And then Fridays are for babies, I think. But basically, these are mostly elementary age programs with the exception of those Thursday special programs that are for all ages. And one more thing this summer that school-age children might like to try is our Try It Out Tuesday program, which is every other week online. It's a chance for kids to try out a range of new activities with programs rotating between exercise, food, nature, art, crafting, and more. So if you have a kid in your life, or if you are the kid and you're trying to figure out what you want to do, grabbing that paper calendar is a great idea. Or you can always stop in and talk to a children's librarian and ask them what they think you would enjoy. The next age group is Tweens. This is kids in grades 3 through 6, and the main program name is Totally Tweens. In normal times, Totally Tweens events happens every Thursday afternoon, and they rotate between playing Minecraft after school, all together on the same server. There's a monthly book club called Comics and Cookies, where they read a graphic novel on their own in the month beforehand and then get together to discuss it while eating cookies and doing an activity around the book. They also have Science Tweens, where biology grad students from the university present hands-on science activities, such as harvesting DNA from bananas, which sounds amazing to me. And then one-off activities with fun things like making wool felted soap, making a terrarium, or a light up greeting card. In our current COVID times, this is down to one virtual program a month, and it's not on a set day or time, but they've done cool things like dissecting owl pellets with an educator from Burr Oak Land Trust. They've built a candy spine with nursing students from the university and learned about how our spines work and how to keep them healthy. And they've done acrylic paint pours on ceramic coasters, where they picked up the kit and did it on their own time. This summer, by contrast, there will be Totally Tweens events every other Tuesday, and they have things planned like a national parks bingo, needle felting, learning what mathematicians do, and talking about books. And those will all be virtual this summer. And fingers crossed, Anne says, that the tweens will get back to their regular normal schedule in September. And I just have a little bit to share about Anne's goal for tween programming. It's to build a bridge between the little kid programs and the teen programs. And she wants kids to come to the tween programs and feel as though the library is a safe, welcoming environment where they're appreciated and validated as unique individuals, especially since this is a developmental age where kids are starting to form their own identities separate from their parents. So the tween events are drop-off events where tweens can strike out on their own outside the family unit, away from their parents, but within safe parameters. I wish I was a tween because those programs always sound so fun. Yeah. The next age group is teens. This is for 13 to 18-year-olds. And Victoria is our new teen librarian who's joined us since COVID-19 started. There are also some adult programs that are completely appropriate for teens, so they're encouraged to look for both of those age groups to find something good. But ongoing teen programs include the Teen Works Initiative, where on the second Thursday of the month, they talk about resumes and do mock interviews. And on the last Thursday of the month, they invite 2 panelists from different employment sectors to share all about their careers and how they got there. Space to Grow is a monthly program to learn, create, and share what you know with others. And it focuses on self-sufficiency, creativity, and covers topics like gardening, art, and much more. And the programs for teens this far have been on Zoom or have been to-go kits. But on April 16th, Victoria is planning her first in-person teen program outside, and it's a planting with Grow Johnson County. And then over the summer, she's planning a program almost every Monday and some science type programs on Wednesdays and some extras sprinkled in for good measure. So she's looking for a good variety, so hopefully everyone will find something they like. And Victoria tells me that the teen programs are going to stem around things that are fun and creative, workplace smarts, general smarts. But once we are back in person more, she's hoping to have more with volunteering and teens leading programs for teens. Victoria also does classroom visits, so far virtually. So teachers, if you have any teachers in your life or you are a teacher, feel free to email Victoria if you'd like her to pop in. The next age group is adults. Adult programming is designed for people ages 18 to 180, although sometimes a program or series might be aimed at a specific age group, such as seniors or people in their 20s or 30s. And our library programs for adults focus on these topics: reading and lifelong learning, information and digital literacy, local history and genealogy, current issues, and then lots of special events. Currently, during COVID-19, all of the adult programs are being done virtually in Zoom or Facebook Live. And some programs might have an accompanying kit that you can reserve and pick up at the library. When the pandemic is over, adult programming will expand to include both virtual and in-person programs or workshops based on the topic. Some things lend themselves well to Zoom and some things don't, and so we're looking forward to having a mix. There are some series events for adults that you can expect to see, and the main one that we get asked about are book discussions. So I've got 3 ongoing options here. BYO Book is the library's Books and Bars book group, although it's on Zoom right now. And they meet in local restaurants where group members can have a nice meal, maybe enjoy a beverage, and talk about the book they've read. They generally have 12 to 20 people at each event, and it's informal. People don't have to speak if they don't want to, and the conversation is friendly, and they usually end the event by going around and talking about what other books they've been reading. Those BYO book events are roughly every other month, and the next one is on May 4th. A new book club we have is this science fiction and fantasy book club. So this meets every other month on Zoom as well. And they read and talk about science fiction or fantasy books that are popular, noteworthy, and often have authors that are Black, Indigenous, or people of color. The next meeting for them is on May 11th, so you can keep an eye out for that. And finally, Let's Talk Books is another series that started in the last year where we pick a genre and you can join the conversation about any books you've read from that genre of books. So this example is police procedurals. Next week, it's detective fiction, but it's been a big range of things. So keep an eye out for the genres that are close to your heart, and it'll be a fun conversation. We also have classes, tech classes every month. They're often about how to use a particular piece of technology. For example, Google Drive, Canva, Photoshop, meditation apps, or how to use technology well and safely. We've done things like how to organize your digital photos, digital minimalism, and how to spot fake news is my example down here. In normal times, we also have a weekly drop-in tech help session where you can bring your device and get one-on-one assistance. We're going to try something similar to that next month. Yeah, next month. So I'm going to have an iPhone drop-in help and an Android phone drop-in help. We'll start to get back to doing that one-on-one help again. Other things we have for adults include film discussions in our Eco Film series. We've got gardening forums, Weber Days, which is named after local historian Irving Weber. And these are opportunities to learn about local history and genealogy. That happens every May. A partnership with the Obermann Center for conversations on interesting and current issues, and the occasional craft or creative workshop, author visits, all kinds of things. We also get out of the library to connect with adults. And Franny, my coworker, not pictured, is the person who does Tales and Travels, which is designed to engage those with age-related cognitive decline that are living in local assisted living facilities. So each event is centered on a certain location, for example, a trip to India, and there are interesting facts shared, conversation, photos, objects passed around, things like that. It's a great way to reawaken some memories that might have been forgotten. So that's the overview for adults. And Beth asked me to say that suggestions or topics for adult programs or workshops are always welcome. So please send us your ideas if you like. Next, I wanted to say something about seasonal events. So we tend to have some repeated seasonal or annual events. And these are just some of the things that we mark. But Black History Month, you'll usually hear that we've got something special for that. For spring break and other school breaks, the children's department tends to have more programs, especially for all ages of kids. National Poetry Month, we often have readers from the Senior Center do poetry readings and other little activities. The summer reading program, though, is enormous, or at least it looms enormous in our minds because we put a lot of work into it and we have a lot of great prizes. So summer reading programs for all ages, and you'll keep track of what books you've read and then turn in your list of books to get a prize. And I haven't heard yet how that will work this year. Last year we had to change it so that we didn't give away an individual book to each person because we were trying to limit the amount of people coming in or interaction. Yeah. And so normally you read 5 books as a teen or adult and you get a paperback book of your choice to keep. And for kids, there's lots of little prizes along the way for all of the activities that they do. And then there's also a grand prize drawing usually among the people who have completed it. So I'm not sure how this year will work yet, but for the summer reading program, keep your eye out in the library for a beautiful glossy brochure listing all of the events for all ages and with the game card in it so that you can keep track of your reading. We also usually have a spot at the Iowa Arts Festival where kids can paint something or get really messy and have fun with the library. A newish thing that we have done regularly, but it's been interrupted by the pandemic, is LibCon. So this is like our own comic convention that we've started. And so if you're interested in comic books, graphic novels, pop culture, fandoms, that might be something to watch out for in the fall. I don't know if we'll do it this year or if it will be next year. Then libraries like to observe Banned Books Week and talk about your freedom to read whatever you are interested in. And so we sometimes have activities for that. The Arts and Crafts Bazaar is close to my heart. Anybody?
I have stuff to bring.
Yeah. So people are welcome to craft something or make some art and donate it to the library. And the variety and like the beautiful things that we get is so fun to see. And then we do a craft sale usually at the beginning of November, and it's a fundraiser for the library and a lot of fun to take home something new. And then finally, in the last few years, we've started a winter reading program to go opposite of the summer reading program, just to kind of get you through that like December to February time with another challenge to keep yourself reading and earn a little special mug that we're starting to do, an annual mug for that, for hot chocolate. And you might also see the library show up at city events with or without our bookmobile, such as the Monarch Festival and Pride Fest, things like that. I would like to add that if you need disability-related accommodations in order to participate in any library-sponsored events, please contact the library and we'll be glad to help figure out how we can. Finally, many of our events are recorded and then shared in a couple of different ways. So you can watch them anytime from the library's website. If you go to the video section, you'll see that we used to have a cable channel called the Library Channel in town. And so there are lots and lots of old programs that we took careful time creating and editing, and you could spend a lot of time watching those past programs. And then we also have a YouTube channel. This is also called the Library Channel. And you'll see that we've got current programs posted there too. And I think that's everything that I had planned. So that was pretty close to a half an hour. Are there any questions?
No, I think that pretty well covered it. You